Fatima. I'm your host, Fatima Sisse. By now, you've all heard the news that former South African president and anti-apartheid revolutionary Nelson Mandela has left us physically, but his legacy will live forever. People all over the world are sending their condolences and voicing their opinions about his passing and what it means to humanity. We have special guests for you today who's well-versed on the topic of Tata Madiba and has spent over 30 years studying his character. As usual, we have our sit-down interview, street trivia from the Diaspora, and so much more. First, let's take a look at the album release party from Guinean artist DTM. I hope you enjoy.
Well, it's a third album release party. DTM is a big star. He's a big star, and he's only growing. He's a young star representing Africa in general and Guinea, and he's for everybody. So I'm here to support him.
It's a beautiful night. I got all the support from everywhere, and I'm very happy. And hopefully we're gonna have a great concert because we've been getting ready since 2 years now. We've been working on this album. This is my third one. So the crowd is there, the audience is there, the fans, I got their support, and hopefully we're going to have a great night.
He's my people since day one. DJ Alpha, he's like my brother, man. He's like my brother, man. Like, he believed in me more than I believed in myself. He always tell me, to keep recording, that, something that I can do. He always encouraged me to do music, so, that's my brother, man. I got to support him. Yeah, DTM, yeah, that's like the same clique. That's a family,
He's actually one of our favorite artists in the United States that actually represents our culture and stuff.
The late, I'm the heavyweights in the blood. Them low life neighbor always complain about me bad blood. Me no worry, I've been through this bad weather back in the days when I was living in the school, brother. So ask your brother, he was there, he could go further.
For me, there is no limit. I hear people saying the sky is the limit. For me, there is no limit because after my first album, I'm back. The second one, I realized that is where you limit yourself. That's where is your limit, actually, So without limiting yourself, everything is possible, So I titled this album, No Limit. Actually, because I live here right now, and I have a lot of supporters, a lot of fans, a big fan base, in New York especially. We decided to launch the album here, and we have a plan, next year, March, inshallah, we're going to Guinea-Conakry. Actually, we have a tour for Africa and Europe. Hey de bola bado si feji wo beno wujandara hebata wo beno punondara no yitere holtira gasata bernde walaki mi jodudi yangadana ki imoda da berere obe gasare wo beno woditom memetake ida yono longo da bare obe ko hondu mijida na Fatima wo beno ineshiwa asiwa isintina gasata. That's for my English people down in Nigeria, Ghana, Salone, everywhere around there who they speak, and whatever, Now, this is for my French people, okay? Hey, vas-y, vas-y, baby, dis-moi c'est quoi ça? Baby, dis-moi c'est qui ça? Vas-y, vas-y, baby, dis-moi c'est quoi ça? Baby, dis-moi c'est qui ça? Si tu n'aimes pas, dis-moi, ne me trompe pas. Friends, keep doing what you're doing. Because of you, DTM is moving up and up, and I want you to support me. Without you guys, I will stop doing music. I'm doing the music for you guys. So thanks for all the support. Ide talk go, mama. Ide lie go. People talk go. Them lie go. I see your body moving, left and right you're talking. I see your mouth open, talking nonsense. Stop talking about me. Stop talking by me. You don't even know me. Shame on you.
Welcome back, viewers. I am sitting here with the one and only Ezra Mabengeza, who portrays Patrice Lumumba, the first Prime Minister of Congo, in the play A Season in the Congo. The play accounts the rise and fall of the leader of the newly independent Republic of Congo in 1960 and brings insights into the Congo's colonization. Here are some insights about Mr. Ezra. He was born in Port Elizabeth, a coastal city in the Nelson Mandela metropole of South Africa. His parents, Ezra Mabengeza, was a former political prisoner and strict committee member of the ANC, and Isabella, his mother, was a retired matron of Tuelo Minah Hospital and present AIDS counselor. He is actually a survivor of the apartheid regime and says that this was due to his family's strong structure. Thank you for joining me today, Mr. Ezra.
Thank you, Fatima.
So the world is mourning right now for the loss of a great leader.
Yes.
And they're not only mourning,
yes,
they're celebrating.
Yes.
So please tell me about Nelson Mandela and, you know, your encounter of this great leader.
Yeah. I mean, the example that was set is for me the greatest sort of mark of his journey, you know, the example of dignity, you know, because, you know, Africa is constantly portrayed without dignity. So dignity is a big thing for me.
Okay.
And that's, you know, what he represented. And also, you know, a leader should never be above his people. And, you know, both Mr. Lumumba and Mr. Mandela portrayed that really well. You know, they had that quality of being accessible, of being in touch with the everyday pulse, conversations of the people, and they were able to draw people in, you know, to share the vision. Now we have to execute the vision.
Okay.
Yeah.
In terms of the film, how did your involvement come about? How did you earn the role?
Which film?
Lumumba, of course.
A play, you mean
the play,
yeah.
Exactly.
I think it was around some June 16th celebration.
Okay.
And the director had come to one of the presentations, and it was like discussing some of my photos. And, you know, I was trying to share my experience and also educate, you know, the New York community about what June the 16th was really about. And he was there, and he saw, you know, the passion and the fire. And then, you know, we connected, and we kept, you know, meeting each other. He kept inviting me to certain things, and then I was moving to LA, and I was packed and ready to go, and he was like, oh my God, I see you really doing this. And then he said, hey, listen, I want to talk to you about this play that I've been working on, and I can't imagine anyone else playing this role other than you. So
wow,
that's how we got to that point.
For many people who don't know who Lumumba was, can you please tell us about him?
He, like I said, you know, earlier, you know, in comparing him to, you know, or letting him have the stage with Nelson, or Nelson have the stage with him. From what I saw from the archival footage, which was phenomenal, by the way, he was a man who was engaging, you know, loved his country and his people. You know, and his people being, you know, not just the Congolese, but Africans, you know, resolute, like unwavering. He was clear that, you know, we have independence. Yes, you know, like the European nations took, you know, several hundreds, thousands of years, the Americas to, you know, find their feet and get their democracy. He was like, well, you know, we'll do the same thing. We'll take our time, and there are things that we're going to learn, and we've got growing pains, but he was clear about, hey, we'll do this. We can do this. And he definitely believed in our inherent and natural and authentic ability and brilliance, you know? He just believed that Africa won't fail. Africans can't fail. That was his mindset.
Exactly. That's the mentality that we need to have. Lastly, please tell our viewers where they can go watch the play.
Yes, you could catch the play at this wonderful theater, which has been so gracious and so kind as to allow one of the few African dramas of this significance. It's called La Mama, and it is on 74 East 4th Street, and it's in New York, you know, one of the greatest cities. And yes, you will not come and watch Africans dancing on stage to entertain our, you know, other species on this planet. You will come to see Africans talking about freedom, liberation, empowerment, knowing who you are, having a grasp of your sense of self. You know, so if you're down for that, come watch it. You will not be seeing any singing and dancing and, you know, jingling on stage and shaking our booties. There will not be any of that. Yeah.
Thank you for joining me today, Mr. Ezra.
A pleasure, my dear.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Cool.
Oh, wow. Stay tuned, viewers. There's more to come.
My people, open your eyes and answer the call of the Frelimo, Frelimo. Zamora, Zamora, Marcelle has won Mozambique. A luta continua, a luta continua, continua. In South Africa, a luta continua, a luta continua, continua. In Zimbabwe, a luta continua, a luta continua, continua. In America, yeah, a luta continua, a luta continua, continua.
Julia.
We're coming to it. The struggle continues everywhere.
Absolutely.
My people, open your arms and answer the call of the drum. Mkondo wesizwe, Madiba Mandela, Madiba Mandela has won Mozambique. A luta continua, continua. In Nigeria, a luta continua, a luta continua. In Guinea, a luta continua, a luta continua, continua.
Welcome back, viewers. Hope you were touched by the performance as I was. Joining me right now is Danny Schechter. He's a blogger and filmmaker, and he recently just released a book, Madiba A to Z, The Many Faces of Nelson Mandela.
There it is. Yeah, well, this is a book that was a companion to a documentary series that I've been making in South Africa about the movie Mandela Long Walk to Freedom with Idris Elba and Naomi Harris. So I've been there on the set, but also going behind the scenes of the struggle, of the real events that the film depicts, and speaking with some of Mandela's closest advisors, the people he was in jail with, people who know him very well, to tell us more about him, and also to try to put his situation in a context of the world. You know, one of the problems is people see him as a savior almost, not as a person who was part of a movement that struggled for so many years for freedom in his country, who you know, suffered many setbacks, including his imprisonment for 27 years. And also what we didn't really see in the TV coverage is the role played by people in the diaspora, in America and all over the world, who stood in solidarity with the South African people, who boycotted, who protested, who sat in, who marched to support freedom not only for Mandela, but for the South African people.
Okay, oh, sorry, I don't want to cut you off, but...
No, cut me off. That's okay. I like being cut off.
Okay, so please tell me, why was Mandela so popular?
Well, you know, why was he popular? Because he embodies a certain leadership style, because he was unfazed after coming out of prison. He was able to really get back into politics, become the president of his country. He's admired because of his moral stance. He's admired because of his eloquence. He's admired because he's the symbol of this movement. But he was not the whole movement. And this is what we need to realize. This was something that was a global movement.
So in your book, you called him a bully.
Well, in one of the chapters in my book, I have a thematic approach. So I see him as an athlete, as a lover, as a negotiator, as a diplomat. But he was stubborn often, you know, and he really believed in something very strongly. He would push for his position. And if somebody was opposing him, he would sometimes ride all over him. You know, he was a cross-examiner as a lawyer. You know, he's a pretty tough guy. He was the head of a military unit. You know, the Umkhonto weSizwe, which means the spear of the nation, the military arm of the ANC. So he played all these different roles. So my book is about the many faces of Nelson Mandela. You know, he wasn't just one thing. He was many things. And that's what we have to recognize, his complexity and his willingness to change himself. He went through changes, and he also was very open about mistakes he had made, flaws in his personality, and all the rest of it. He had an honesty to him that people admired. That's why, unlike many politicians who, when they leave office, people really hate them, you know. In his case, more and more people began to love him and missed him, and that's what we've seen in South Africa.
So how would you sum up his legacy?
Well, I think his legacy is, we need to appeal to people of goodwill across the racial lines to come together. That's an important thing. We need to try to stop violence against others, you know, to stop the violence in our communities and to respect each other. I think that's another one of his points. We need, if we're going to make change, we need to create alliances. We can't do it all by ourselves. We've got to work with others. We need a larger take on the world. We need to believe in not just power, but justice. Not just office, political office, but standing for something that will appeal to the people. And that's what he was able to do. And I think that's why so many people loved and revered him.
Yeah, so that brings me to my next question. Having worked with him for so long, what is your fondest memory of him?
You know, I just was amazed by his ability to, you know, become this tremendous media figure. You know, he grew up in South Africa. There was no TV. He had no experience of TV. They only got TV in 1976. And yet, when the TV people started interviewing him, he was a natural. He just took over the screen. He wasn't afraid to speak up. He challenged even the people questioning him. So I was very amazed by his ability to communicate. And he wasn't always a very eloquent communicator. Sometimes he was a little formal, a little stubborn about his approach. But people really looked at him for who he was. They wanted to get a sense of the man as much as listen to what he had to say.
Exactly. So where is South Africa heading?
Well, you know, it's a tough time in South Africa next year.
Exactly.
2014 is the new elections. Zuma, the president, was booed at one of the memorial services.
Yeah.
He's not a loved figure by everyone. He's trying to use the Mandela legacy for his election. Many people are opposing him. So I think it's a difficult situation, compounded by the fact that poverty, inequality is still very pervasive in South Africa. And that has to do with the world. You know, with the 99% are ruled by the 1%. So Mandela, you know, was able to educate a lot of people about this, but he personally wasn't able to change, you know, this deep-seated structural problems in our economy. And so you're going to see more fights about that in the year ahead.
Okay. One last question. I just want to know, like, what made you want to get up? I know you've worked in South Africa since the 1960s. What made you get up and just want to go work there?
Well, I was involved in the civil rights movement in America. We saw apartheid in South Africa as kind of the internationalization of racism. That it was racism was not just an American problem, it was a global problem. And we believe in the idea of solidarity. If people are struggling and suffering, we want to stand with them. We want to, you know, do what we can to be helpful. And I was fortunate to meet some South Africans when I was in my 20s. I was invited to go to South Africa. And once you get there, once you see the pain, the passion of the people, you know, it's inspiring. You want to be part of it in some way. How can you help? And that's basically what I tried to do. But I was a journalist, and I was also involved with a big music project with some of the biggest rock stars in the world, the song Sun City. I was one of the organizers of it. So I was able to make a small contribution. And then, you know, when Mandela was released from prison, I was able to make some films with him and about him that I think helped communicate not only his message, but some of the challenges that he was facing. And now with this new book and with the new films that I've made, I hope we can get him to be remembered as more than a smiling face, as somebody who really stood for something and somebody whose message touches us all.
Very well put. Thank you for joining me today.
My pleasure.
The book is Madiba A to Z. Please get it in Amazon, or where else can they get it?
In bookstores around the country, and you know, Amazon is one of the online bookstores, but there are many others that are selling it. It's also available in South Africa from Jacana Press. That's unusual that a book is published both in New York and in South Africa.
It sure is.
So the fact that the South African publisher liked it, I felt very good about that, because I'm an American after all, writing about his country, but he thought it was important to release it in South Africa, and he has.
Thank you very much once again.
My pleasure.
Stay tuned, viewers. Next up is the Street Trivia. Enjoy. My question today is, America secured a land in Liberia to grow a major cash crop, which boosted the Industrial Revolution. Which cash crop was it?
Was it drugs? Some kind of drugs?
I don't have a clue.
Ooh, that's a toughie. Wow. I don't know. I'm not gonna even sit here and lie to y'all. I don't know what cash crop was it.
Oh, I don't even know.
I have no idea. I do not know.
I don't know what it is.
Coffee.
No. Coffee. Liberia, cash crop boosted the Industrial Revolution. Let's call it
Oil?
palm oil.
It should have been wheat, but it's probably marijuana.
What? Legalize it. Legalize it.
Which crop? I don't know. Corn?
Do you have that effect where you put like the crickets and stuff?
As a matter of fact, we kind of do.
Well, you insert that right there, okay?
No comment, sis. No comment.
I'm gonna go with coffee.
I don't know. It's just that's a very good cash crop.
Which company set up these plantations?
Really? I do not know, and I am embarrassed.
I will go with the government. That's the biggest company in the world. They set up crops anywhere they dare please.
Damn right. They sure do.
Because I looked at a tire one time, it said BF Goodrich.
Remember, rubber.
Industrial Revolution, then.
Rubber.
Michelin.
Goodyear, that's a good one. Goodyear. Yeah, the Goodyear company.
Who was
I
right?
don't know.
Actually, Firestone.
Firestone.
Yeah.
Which company? Is it Goodyear?
No.
Bridgestone?
No.
Okay, which company?
One more. Guess.
I don't know.
Okay, it's actually Firestone.
Oh God, how could I forget that?
Rubber, good year.
Next question.
Thank you very much. That was it.
That's it?
That's it.
Oh, man.
It was rubber. Oh, that's amazing. I thought the rubber comes from the tree. They built rubber trees.
Oh, I cursed. Sorry.
It's okay.
Next question.
Oh my God.
Wow.
Yes, it's a cash.
You learn something new every day.
Told you guys will like that one. Well, that's our show for today. Hope you enjoyed it. Join us again next time as we uncover more stories from the diaspora. Also, please follow us on Twitter at Inside Diaspora and like us on Facebook as well. For inquiries about having your adverts on the show, please contact us at sradverts@saharareporters.com. Thank you for watching again. See you next time.